welcome to Slingin Dirt Media. We're going green flag with Jimmy Stricker tonight. Jimmy, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me here.
Absolutely. So we've done a couple of these and talked with Adam, and so I want to get some of your take because I remember racing against you.
Yeah.
We had some laps together.
Good time, yeah.
It was fun. I don't really remember having any door banging or anything.
No,
Good, clean, fun.
Yeah.
Like racing should be. So when did you start driving the modified?
The modified.
Was you were after Weasel, right? Or were you
I started
before?
driving late models.
Okay.
That was in 94.
Okay.
And we raced late models for a couple years, and it just got too expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just not affordable. So,
Right.
so we actually quit racing for a while. We decided we're really done. It's just
The fun wasn't there. And
It was fun. It just was too expensive
Right.
anymore. And
has it gotten any cheaper?
it has not. So I bought a house, and it's like all at the same time. It's like, okay, we'll just quit. And then a couple years went by, and my he decided he wanted to race.
Okay.
And I was tickled because I had never seen my dad race. I mean, when he raced, it was before my time. So it was exciting that I'm all for it. Let's do that. So he started racing, and he ran almost a whole year, and he decided, all right, I'm done. I wanted to try.
See,
it.
I don't
remember
him driving a late model in modern era.
Not late model.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
He drove the modified.
So we quit for 2 years.
You quit for a while, then you came back, and then
we
he
looked
drove
at
for a
this
little
modified thing
Okay,
that these cars are out. Yeah, and he decided he's going to try racing. And we tried with the modified, and got a new cropper motor, and he ran like 3/4 of the year, and I guess he just got it out of his system, and
all right, wanted to do it again,
and he done good. He won heat race and done well. So I finished the year out.
You finished the year out. Okay. Now let me back up a second, because you said you didn't remember him driving back when he used to drive. That was before your time.
Right.
Okay. So this was a question I'd ask Adam. So I think his was Weasel. Who's the earliest driver that you remember driving for your dad?
Bruce Gould.
Bruce Gould? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's going back.
Yeah, because Bruce Jr., me and him played Hot Wheels at Florence Speedway with the covered roof. And do you remember the covered
I remember the cover, barely. I mean, that was real young.
Yeah, we was real little kids. Yeah, played Hot Wheels on the bleachers and the covered grandstands. And
we were doing the Hot Wheels in the bare area underneath the swing sets.
Yeah,
your feet drag and clean the grass out. That's where we were doing our Hot Wheels. Yeah.
So that was the earliest that I can go back.
So speaking of Bruce, I remember we raced against him as well in the modifieds.
Yes, Bruce Jr.
Yeah, Bruce Jr. in the modifieds.
Yeah.
That was fun too.
It was fun, just all of us coming up like that, and now that offsprings are racing and
So I think I remember. I think I said to Adam, my earliest driver that I remember driving for your dad was Patrick.
Yep.
And Bobby Carnes, obviously, he was. Now, was Bobby before or was Bobby after Pat?
Bobby was after Pat. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think didn't Pat he was the 44 car.
Right. He went to Stinger's Ford.
Yeah, the Stinger's Ford. M&M's vans.
And actually, let's see, after Bobby Carnes was John Lawhorn.
John Lawhorn, yeah.
John Mugman drove for a short time, just a few races.
Yeah.
So you got John Lawhorn and then Weasel.
Weasel, yeah. Weasel had a nice run. Stricker streak.
Weasel, he started out in his own car. Actually, it was one of my dad's cars, like a previous year car.
Mm-hmm.
He took the car to his house and started out in it. I want to say it was 88.
Wow.
Because the number was 88, and if I can remember right, that was why. It was because it started out at 88.
Oh, okay.
So he did that for a couple years and got, till he could get really good in the car.
So did you go, or do you remember the year, didn't Pat run like second in the world one year? or had a real good run, or maybe was he leading or something? Had a flat tire go or something on the last lap or something like that.
He did lead a lot of it. I
really can't give you.
Yeah, I can't really give you the good detail. I don't even think I was there for that race. But,
okay.
My dad, he remembers that stuff like it was yesterday.
Yeah. I was hoping that maybe he might tell me a couple of those stories, but yeah, you know.
He will at the track.
He will at the track, right. When there's no camera or no microphones. Exactly. Yeah, so we'll have to hide a camera on me somewhere and talk to him a little bit. Hey, do you remember that one time? Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you there's some good stories to be told from back in the day.
Yeah. So I know there's a couple of the, I don't want to say old timers. I want to say more of some of your seasoned guys that don't race anymore. I'm excited about, doing this podcast, and that's, I want to get the current guys that are out there too, and get their spotlight. But I will definitely want to get to some of the older, seasoned guys that aren't racing anymore. Get some of your. I mean, Vern's still racing. I don't think he's ever going to quit. But
right.
Get some of your Vern and Chuck McWilliams stories and stuff. It's like when I was a kid, these were just battles that just lived on and on and on.
Oh yeah, the guy that Adam was mentioning before, Elwood. I've known him since I was real little.
Yeah.
But getting older and racing stuff, and on our way to the track, we'd hear so many stories about back in the day, and some of the speedways they went to, and it would just be cool to live back in then.
Oh,
years.
It was just. I want to say it's so much different, but really was it? I mean, there's just adventure stories. So when you started going and stuff to the track as you got a little bit older, did you guys have any rituals or any certain restaurants you guys would stop at, or you got to go to this place on the way to the track for lunch, or was there a particular place on the way home from the track or anything?
It's usually on the way home.
Okay.
I mean, back in the day, it was probably Perkins.
Yeah.
And then it switched to Frisch's.
Yeah.
You stop at Frisch's on the way home.
Yeah. I remember the reason I'd ask when I started driving in 2000, and my dad, I didn't have a truck at the time, so Dad was my truck driver. He used his truck to pull my car with. Well, that was his job. So Dad's job was to get the car to and from the track, and the rest of it was on me, right? Well, at the end of the night, as long as I got money back, I had to pay for Dad's Waffle House. That's how Dad got paid. Was he got paid in Waffle House?
Buy my meal.
Yeah. He loved it, steak and eggs. So, but I definitely remember some other places. Like when I mentioned, I used to help Gary Engel years and years ago back in the day.
I remember
the Cone Killer. Yeah, and so Gary's deal was on the way back to the shop when he had the shop in Price Hill. He would stop and get the guys White Castles. We got White Castles. Now, as long as he got starting money, we got White Castles. Now, if he got anything better than start money, we got White Castles with cheese.
That would have. So he was high fiving. It's gonna be cheese tonight, boys.
Yeah, we got cheese tonight, boys.
That's good.
Yeah, it's just good stuff like that. So I hope he remembers that. So I want to tease him a little bit about that one when me and him sat down. So I just didn't know if you guys had anything like that. Didn't know.
No, not that I can ever remember or anything like that.
Man, that's good stuff. I mean, just memory lane. It's like, man, this is good stuff.
I remember racing late model though with Gary and Steve Brown.
Steve Brown,
yeah. It's a good time.
Oh man, it's just we've seen a lot of good racers over the years and stuff, and some of them have come back. Steve Brown's back, and he's in a sport mod nowadays. And he's
after all those years off.
Yeah, what is he out of the car like 20 years or something like that?
I couldn't tell you how many years.
Longer.
Time gets away, but it has been a long time.
We were talking about a picture on Facebook. So the other day was Spencer Watson's birthday, and there was a picture of me and Spencer racing go-karts at Lawrenceburg, and we were talking about, I was like, that was probably 5 years ago. He's like, dude, that place has been closed for 10 years. He said it's probably longer than that. I'm like, wow, time doesn't get away.
I remember years ago when I was a kid, they used to have a go-kart track there at Florence. Did you know that?
Where the pits is now.
The pits is now.
Yeah.
And I remember Rice's and McWilliams. They brought their carts over to the track like for a just show them a little bit. This is what we do on the backstretch on a Friday night, and so all the McWilliams, Mike and Audie, and I want to say Dave, but I'm not 100%. But I remember Mike and Audie both had carts, and they ran them on the front stretch, and it's like, boy, that's been a long time ago.
That's been a long time. So I remember like the Friday nights when they raced the carts, then they would do like kids foot races. And I remember the first time I ever beat Josh. That was a big deal because I wasn't real fast. I was a small little short kid. And then the first time that I finally won, man, that was big stuff in the foot race.
So you seen the kart races there?
Yeah.
See, I never did get to see them.
Yeah. It was maybe once or twice. I mean, it wasn't a lot, but I mean, I remember. I remember the foot races. And doing that. So, but
good time, man.
Oh, man. Yeah. And that's just what we want to talk about. It's just good stories and stuff like that we remember as kids and growing up and around the racetrack. Did you get to go to a lot of other tracks with Dad and stuff, or was it mostly just Florence?
You mean driving or just watching?
When you was a kid, growing up, when you guys would go racing?
Nah, just Florence
mostly
much.
Florence,
yeah. They did hit a lot of tracks down in Kentucky, and they had went to Florida, and I didn't get to go to those races.
Yeah, I know I've seen pictures of like the Pennsboro, like the wedge cars back in the day and stuff, and Pat there and stuff.
As I got a little older, I did get to go to Pennsboro once.
I never been. All I got is the pictures and seen some old videos. So I don't know if those were 9mm or the old VHS.
Oh,
or whatever.
Yeah.
Some of those old films, and some of those guys do a good job with them. But man, that's the cars back then are so wild looking to what we have nowadays,
Yeah, I didn't get to go much. When my dad, when he goes racing, he's very serious about it. I mean, he takes it very seriously, and I can attest to this that there's no playing around.
Right.
I mean,
there's a lot of
we have fun with it. Don't get me wrong, it's a hobby and all that, but it's very serious.
Business.
Yeah.
You got a lot of work and money and time.
We can
energy.
cut up on the way there. We can cut up on the way home.
And we can celebrate in Victory Lane.
But when racing gets started,
it's serious.
It's all business.
Yeah.
And that's just the way he's always been. So.
Yeah, that's. I just remember. I mean, so many of the, like you said, the drivers that he's had over the years. It's like, man, there's got to be some traveling stories. There's got to be some good stuff there at some point. Like I said, maybe I'll get those from him off camera or something.
Yeah. I can't really tell you much about those days because I wasn't there for a lot of them. So,
what kind of when you started driving the mod? Did you guys traveled around a little bit here in the tri-state area a little bit? I mean, what was like your favorite track that you guys should race that?
Probably Mudlick.
Mudlick?
Yeah.
You had some wins down there, didn't you?
Yeah, and it was always wide open. I mean, it not taken away from Florence or whatever, but I just wasn't very good on a black slick track. Man. And Mudlick, he would get there like on a Thursday night and start watering Thursday night.
All the way till Saturday.
Yeah, and it would just be heavy all night long, and you could just stand on it as hard as you can.
Just let her eat.
Stab the brake in the corner and
Hammer
let her eat down the backstretch.
Let her eat.
every lap, all night.
Yeah, I know. Like you said, that was so like back around 2000 when I started in the Super Dirt Stock class, and that was, Florence was nicknamed. It was Black Ice. It was, and a lot of people that I was learning from, and they were telling me, man, it's the Black Ice, and it's the technical. You gotta finesse. You gotta finesse the car. Egg on and off the throttle and all this stuff. And it's like, man, if you can get decent and run good at Florence, you're fine anywhere else you go.
I heard that.
Yeah,
I heard that many times over the years.
I heard that, and I also heard that if you've got a good handling car at Florence, it'll handle good everywhere else.
Yeah.
It's like, how weird is that? But I found that to be true. Like, I know I raced Brush Creek, and I did way better at Brush Creek than I ever did at Florence. Same thing, Lawrenceburg. Raced at Lawrenceburg a few times. And, man, I ran so much better at other tracks than I did at Florence, but yet that was the place I went to every week and raced,
Yeah, it would really teach us something. Because like I said, we ran Mudlick, had a lot of fun, but weeks that they wouldn't run, then we would go to Florence, and I was out in that field because I was just so used to just
that hammer
stabbing.
Yeah.
and we just didn't have the slick track thing down, or at least I didn't. I didn't have that light foot.
It's a different animal.
Yeah,
it's like driving on ice.
So I just really struggled, whenever we would do that. And
what about Brown County? Old Brown County, out in Russellville.
Same thing. It was small, but it got slick, real slick, and I just struggled on slick track.
I got to venture there once or twice. Not a lot. I mean, as a driver, once or twice. Went there. A buddy of mine from high school, Danny Hurt.
Yeah.
He ran there. The Hurt family, they always ran there. Had different cars there. Orville, his dad, they had cars there. The 96s, man, they always had number 96.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
And so in high school, Danny was a little bit older than me, and I don't know how we built this car. We had like this 72, 74 Nova. And, man, we had this thing skinned down to bare nothing. I mean, I don't know how we got this thing down to 2,400 pounds. If you think of a Chevy Nova at 2,400 pounds, it's like, what was there?
Right.
Well, there wasn't much to it, But, yeah, I mean, so I got to help Danny and go there, and that was back in the Dave Kirker era,
Mm-hmm.
Barry Dawson, Billy Williams. I mean, those
Weasel.
guys were, Weasel. Yeah, I mean, those guys were putting on some heck of races out
Larry
there.
Bird, or what was his name? Charlie Bird.
Charlie Bird, yeah, and then you had Sizemore's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and then little after that, and it wasn't long. Then you had Tim Spires.
Edmondson, Mark Morrison.
Yeah. So there were some guys putting on some shows out
regulars every week.
Every week, yeah. That was a racy little place, and like I said, I mean, I only raced there a time or two, and I remember. One time I went there, like I said, the super dirt stocks that we had at Florence was a complete different animal than anything they had there. So I was way in between classes. I was too much for this class and not enough for this class.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, what was the guy's name? Was it Crawford? They got the promoter?
Rick, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he comes over to me and he says, well, looked at your car, and he says, man, here's where you're at. Mm-hmm. He says, I'm going to have to put you with late models. He said, I'm going to ask the guys and see what they think. I had 8-inch DOT street tires, a 2-barrel carburetor, and leaf springs. But it was a clip car. I think it was like an old rocket thing, man. It was like I don't know how old it was. It was, you remember Chris Yoakum?
I know the name.
He ran the C-18, had a Hussman sponsor for Florence for years, and ran the Bombers, and then went to, I think he bought a late model from Gary Engel, and then that's when I bought. So
Vaguely.
I bought Chris's car. So we're at Brown County, and he takes his driver's meeting, and man, they started crying right off the bat. Oh, no, he's got jack screws on the front. He can't run with us, or it's a clip car. He can't run with us. And, man, these guys had 4-barrel carburetors and big tires. And I'm like, man, they're going to make me run with the late models. And he had told me, he said, well, just think of it this way. He said, what you're getting starting money, he says, well, that's what they're racing to win for. And I'm like, I don't care. I just want to make some laps, So went out, and, man, it seemed like there was 5 restarts. Every time they'd go in turn 1, and about 5 or 6 of them would pile up, By the time it was all said and done, I think I was probably 5 or 6 laps down at the end of the race, but it finished like 9th. When they all kept crashing out. By the time you figure in 9th, I'm like, man, I would have won like 3 features at Florence to get that. I'm like, I might come back here every week. But that was kind of one of my Brown County stories. It was a fun little track, but I mean, I didn't have the right setup, right gear. I mean, I was a complete oddball car there. I mean, it wasn't like anything else they had around. So I really didn't get to race with him. I was just trying to run around the bottom and stay out of those guys' way. I hear them like every couple of laps, like, just flying by. But
now you had a cousin that done well there, didn't you?
My cousin Matt Smallwood. He had a Pierce chassis, and I think, where did he get that from?
He kicked butt out there, I remember.
Every week. Yeah, he was pretty tough. He won a couple of races at Florence too. I think he ran second to Kenny Wallace at was KC, now Atomic.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So, but I think it was one of those deals where I think the story, what I was told, I wasn't there the night. My Uncle Dan, he told me, he said Kenny had started on the front row or second row, whatever, and just checked out early. Matt started on the tail, or worked his way up through the field and got to second. But he said, he was a straightaway behind him, but he was still, he was second.
Wow, that's something to tell there.
Yeah, that is. So maybe at some point I might get my cousin on here. And it's like, I think he's got a couple of kids that race dirt bikes now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think one of his daughter. I think, we don't talk much.
Yeah.
Just our families are just different sides of the world. It seems like and we get apart. And I think he's got a daughter. I think she races quads or something like that. And she's won a few championships and a few big races.
So it's a competitive family.
Oh yeah, it's a very competitive family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was tough.
Yeah, I remember. So my cousin Matt, and he had two brothers. He had Matt was a little bit younger than me. He's got an older brother, Tom, which was my age, and another brother, older brother, Joe. Mm-hmm. The funny thing about that is Joe, his name is Joseph Daniel Smallwood. My name is Daniel Joseph Smallwood. So it's we didn't get far out of the name range.
You're right.
So you got a brother.
I do.
Older brother,
younger brother. He's 7 years younger.
And you were telling me off there, he's not a fan of watching the Bengals lose, right?
No, he is. He really loves the Bengals. Well, him and his wife, the whole family.
Yeah,
they love the Bengals.
Well, I almost wore my Bengals hoodie tonight. We know this is probably going to air after the game, but we do have a big game coming up here this weekend, and we hope them boys do good. It's been a long time since we've seen a good winning team out of them.
Yeah,
so.
Cincinnati will just be off the charts if they win. I mean,
well,
we'll
see how this goes.
Yeah.
My camera guy's like, yes. So. Yeah. Okay. So, Jimmy, anything else? I know we kind of said we wanted to keep this one a little short. We kind of skipped over a bunch of stuff there. We had a lot of fun back in our day. Anything else that you can think of that we probably need to touch on real quick or anything before we jump off?
No, I'm just really excited for Adam. The opportunity he has, and things have changed a lot. Because back in the day. We used to get the Mid-American Racing paper.
Yeah.
And you would see who won the week before.
Right.
Or if you had a problem, you'd address it on Monday morning.
Right.
Call Bob Pierce or Master. But, Yeah, now it's just, hey, the trouble I'm having, what can I change?
Yeah.
Or make that phone call.
Right.
But,
and you can get your race updates on the way home,
Right now, like 5 minutes ago, so-and-so won,
Well, Adam's over here in the corner watching Florida races right now. I was like, man, that must be nice.
So it's changed a lot,
yeah.
and I'm really excited, how well he's doing, and
yeah,
and,
the kid's got a little talent.
Yes, he does.
Yeah,
way more than I ever had. He's just got that seat of the pants feel, and he knows when to mash on it, and when to be a little light on the gas.
Yeah, when to use that egg under the throttle thing. Yeah.
So I'm just excited for him.
Yeah,
and
he's a good kid. I like to see him do good because I know him and know the family. Like I said, we raced against each other, so anytime I see Adam out there, it's not that I'm pulling for him, but I know he's a good kid, and I always like seeing good things.
He's got a good head on his shoulders, and
right.
he takes everything as it comes.
Yeah.
If you win, you do good. Great. If we have a bad night, then we go back and
get better next week.
Yeah, exactly. So,
well, good deal. Well, Jimmy, maybe we'll see you guys in Victory Lane some more this year, and we'll talk about that then.
I appreciate it, and wish you all the best luck with the podcast. And
I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming on. I know you said you're a little quiet, not a big talker, but
I am.
I feel like this went pretty good.
It did. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I'm just the. Yeah, I don't say a whole lot sometimes.
It's all right.
There's a lot of people that says, we haven't seen you for a while. Or,
Well, it's good to say hey.
Yeah, hey. So.
All right, folks. Well, we're going to wrap up. We're going to throw the checkered flag on this session of Slingin' Dirt. We hope you guys all enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed it. You get to talk about some old times, and laps around the track with an old friend's always good to remember.
Absolutely.
So, like I said, hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to turn into the Slingin' Dirt YouTube page. Like and subscribe that and share. Check out the Facebook, and we'll see you guys at the track.